one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to this April 1st Board of Commissioners meeting. Do you have anyone here for public comment? See all familiar faces, so no. We will go right to our presenters, and we have Laura Archibald with opioid settlement funds as well as community service grant fund.
I'll do one thing at a time.
Perfect.
It's always,
We can be a little slow.
we're good at
Yeah.
one thing at a time. Yeah. Thanks, Laura. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So this one will be quick. We only had one recommendation from the opioid settlement committee this time. We only received one application, and one application is being recommended at full funding. One other thing that did come through was the committee voted on if an organization wants a consideration for a change of scope of a prior grant or a reallocation of funds, that they will have to submit a formal written request to the committee. So we have had a couple of instances where we have had questions about that. So we voted on that in the last meeting. So they will need to write a written request to the committee. So I will get that to the two organizations who have asked about that, and so those will come to you in the fall. That has been EMS and Frankfort Police Department, so we will get that to them and let them go ahead and get those written requests to us. Funding recommendations this time total $17,000 for the city and $17,000 for the county. All funding recommendations this time qualify under the restricted funding. The recommendation this time, the request was from Healthy Communities. Healthy Communities has been offering teen, men's, women, and couple recovery cafes. It's an evidence-based program. They go through the domains of vitality for recovery, which is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, environmental, and social. They've been offering those on a monthly basis, and they would like to be able to continue to offer those. They also do health insurance navigation for clients, and they have a 50% federal match for that grant, and they would like to be able to continue to do that. And a large percent of the clients that they do for that are resident or clients with substance use disorder. So they are total cost of the project $168,008. In-kind contribution from other grants or donators is $134,008, and the funding request was actually $28,000, and they were cutting out meals for the cafes, but the committee actually recommended that they request extra dollars and add the meals back in. They felt like that was an important part of the cafes. So the funding request was changed at the recommendation of the committee to $34,000, with the recommendation being that $17,000 come from the city and $17,000 come from the county under the restricted dollars. Are there any questions about that request? Jordan, I don't know if you want to say anything. You were at that meeting, so.
I think that covered it. We just, as a committee, felt like it was important for the fellowship to add that additional funding to make sure the meals were continuing to happen. That seemed to be, from the feedback we got, was a driving force in getting people there, was the meals in that. So for, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, maybe Laura does, there's plenty of money in the restricted fund.
Yeah.
As well as the unrestricted. It's well into the six figures. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
it is.
Continue to get these.
And we haven't even got any 2025
Yeah.
allotments yet, so.
It's about every 3 to 5 months, I'll just receive an email of another settlement fund that's comes through, so the balance is is very strong, and we talked about from the beginning is just trying to get as much money out there in the community working. So I think it's a great resource.
We haven't heard about reporting for 2025 yet. I believe it's because we have new administration and they may change that. Doug Hunsinger is now taking a position with ICJI, so I think we'll see changes in that reporting mechanism probably happening. So we haven't heard anything about reporting mechanisms for 2025. I think that probably will change. So as we hear things happen, we'll collect the data and we'll do the reporting as that comes down. But we haven't heard anything for 2025 yet. And I'll continue to do that reporting whenever we hear that information. And then we'll continue to meet to review grant scope changes and budget reallocations, and then review any new grant applications for the fall grant cycles.
Okay, great. We'll take a motion for the first part of this, if we could get one to approve the request.
I'd like to make that we accept the recommendation from the committee on the opioid settlement.
I'll second.
Motion carries 3-0 for that.
And a nice job to the committee.
I have lots of good help.
You can move that chair back.
So, it is the morning. Okay. So, we invite all of you to our annual event in November, but I know a lot of you are in agriculture, and so November is not really a convenient time for y'all to be able to come. So, I wanted to just report out, since we are one of the recipients of the 2024 Community Service Grant, and just kind of give you an overall picture of what we were able to accomplish in 2024. We were able to bring in just over $1.4 million of grant revenue to Clinton County last year. That was spent directly on improving the health and well-being of adults and children in Clinton County. We directly served over 16,000 individuals, indirectly reached approximately 30,000 individuals countywide, including students in all 4 county school districts and the crossing. Obviously, we couldn't do the work that we do without a lot of people that we work with, our board of directors, our committee and coalition members, which you guys are on a lot of those committees, and also, but beyond that, I have really great staff that I work with. We have 2 nurses, a clinical social worker, 4 peer recovery specialists, a certified prevention specialist, a teacher, 3 certified insurance navigators, 2 certified crisis intervention specialists on staff. And our organization received the gold standard from the Adolescent Health Initiative through the University of Michigan. We're the only prevention facility in the entire nation that received that standard. So they usually go to medical, like hospitals and things like that. So we're really proud of that. Those 15 people do amazing work, and I want to kind of tell you about some of that work today. I'm not going to read all of this, you can read. So I just want to point out some things. We were able to help over 750 people get health insurance. And when that says applications or people, those are actually units, which may be families. So that's far more than people. And we had a 97% success rate in removing client barriers. That is self-reported. So we give them a QR and they report if they feel like we're helpful to them. And that was a 97% success rate. We're very big on trying to give people a hand up and not a hand out. So for instance, when we do an insurance application, we help them create a benefits portal so that they can learn how to do these things on their own. We don't just help them get a job, we help them create a resume so that they know how to do it. We help them set up an email so they can answer things, set up an Indeed profile, things so that they learn how to do these things on their own, so that we're not just doing them for them. We're helping them learn how to do those things on their own. In the area of maternal child health, Libby is our infant mortality nurse. She runs the infant mortality team for the entire state. This is actually news that's going to get released today, but all of our infant mortality in 2024, none of them were things that could have been prevented. So that's 2 years in a row that there were no preventable infant deaths in Clinton County. That's huge. That shows that all those things that we're doing in as far as education and handing out car seats and cribs and all of those things are working. In the area of tobacco and prevention and cessation, the thing in prevention is a lot of times when you do prevention, you don't see the benefits because it's so hard to measure that, right? Well, the nice thing about healthy communities is we've been around so long that we're finally getting to see the benefit, right? If you look, like our infant mortality rate has dropped from 7.1 to 6. Our tobacco rates have dropped from 22.5% to 15.7. Smoking while pregnant, which is huge about infant mortality, from 17.5 to 6.4. Those are huge decreases. And it's part of that is because we've been around so long. Now we're finally getting to see the fruits of our labor. But there are things that are very concerning in tobacco. So I gave you those other handouts. I'm not going to talk about all that now, but 3 big concerns are enforcement. So we had 12 inspections in 2012 in Clinton County. We failed all 12. So, and that's excise inspections, not like our local enforcement, just so you know. So that's something we are concerned about. And then marketing in Clinton County with tobacco and signage is a big thing, and it being too large and like too close to the road and stuff. And I've talked to Don here in town, and he's done a really good job changing that, but we need to look at countywide. And then disposal of vapes, which I know we're going to talk about later. So today, actually. So just some things that we'll need your help on. We're going to continue to work on the prevention and cessation side. Then Youth Rise is a great program. We have 40 teen educators doing great things in the community. Over 3,000 kids getting evidence-based programming in the school. Mental health, do lots and lots in the school. Over 30,000 people reach through our mental health games. Our LOSS team, which is local outreach to suicide survivors, is one of only 3 active teams in the state of Indiana. And what that means is that our local coroner and local law enforcement can reach out to us on an active scene to be dispatched, and we're only one of 3 in the state. That's something our county should be proud of. And it takes a lot of cooperation from the coroner for that, so we appreciate Ed doing that. General health, things like 1,200 people served out of our community gardens, and we were 1 garden short last year with 180 being under construction, so we'll be even bigger this year. Free health screenings, all the work we do in recovery, and then in teen pregnancy prevention. We used to have one of the highest rates in the nation. I don't know if you guys know that. We had a 46.2 per 100,000 in 2013. We've cut that rate almost in half through the work we've done in teen pregnancy prevention. So your support of healthy communities is making an impact, and that's what I want you to know. And we appreciate your continued support year after year. We want you to know that those dollars are going to good programming and to good use. So we thank you for all your support of everything that we do. And, transparency is important. That's why we always offer you a position on our board, and we appreciate everything that you do. And if you ever, have any questions, you're always welcome to stop in and see anything we're doing.
Great. Any questions,
Thank you.
gentlemen?
No.
No.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate the
Thank you.
update and all that you and your staff do for the community.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Chris Overman with the Cintas agreement. Morning, Chris.
Yeah, this one just expired. We've been with them 5 years. The good thing about this one, they're offering us the Omni agreement, which is nonprofits. So with like the things we get from them right now is just to have dispensers, obviously for toilet paper and hand towels. But the price of the Z-Fold hand towels is going from $65 to $39, which is a 40% decrease. Toilet paper from $43 a case, $21, which is 51% decrease, so overall 53%. I did read it. I sent it to Tommy. It is a 5-year, but like I said, we just got out of a 5-year agreement with them anyway. We're going to use them. I mean, we get the dispensers, so that's worth something.
One large decreases in your.
It's significant, and I'm going to increase my product, purchasing. We were offsetting by going to Sam's. They've beat Sam's prices, Sam's Club.
Great.
So we don't have to make those trips anymore.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Any questions?
None.
Okay.
Good job, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Take a motion to move forward with the new Cintas agreement for Parkview.
I'll move to approve that.
Motion.
And I'll second that.
All right, thank you.
All right.
3-0 on that. We'll get it signed for you, Chris.
All right,
Good job.
appreciate it.
Next, we have Rick Campbell with Highway Update. Good morning, Rick.
The 2024 annual report for the commissioners to sign.
Okay. Anything you'd like to highlight for the audience out of the report?
We paved 1.5 miles of road. We used Pug Mix and paved 11 miles of road. We chip sealed 42 miles of road. We converted 6 mile of gravel road into hard surface road in the solar farm. They paved 10 mile of county road for us.
Pretty good year.
Damn.
Yeah. Good job, Rick.
The truck drivers we're still spreading gravel. We'll be spreading gravel for a while. We're out patching holes and we're changing pipes. That's about all I have. I wanted to say something about the bridge inspections. The negotiations with VH aren't going very well. They submitted an offer. It was 124% higher than what we're paying right now. We had a meeting with them Monday at the highway garage, and they came down 80,000, and that was all they were going to do. So we're trying to talk with the state, see if they'll let us go with our second choice. And if you go with your second choice, you go through negotiations and you have to take the second choice. You can't keep going down the line. So I just wanted the commissioners to know that. I'll be sending you guys an email with some numbers on it, so you guys know the exact numbers.
Yeah, send that over. What's the time frame for negotiation or hearing back from the state on the second choice?
We think it's till the end of April, but we was hoping to have something for the commissioners to sign the next commissioner meeting.
Okay.
2 weeks.
All right. Yeah, just send us over kind of those numbers and where it's at, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you.
I'll take if you guys are good with it, we'll take a motion to accept the annual operation report for 24,
Yeah.
which was presented to us via email. So
Exactly.
we've seen that for a week
Yeah.
or two now.
I'll make that motion that we accept it, and to be honest with you, I was pleased with some of the results, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Yeah, that was a great report and a lot of, I mean, it's very efficient.
Yep.
Very efficient, so.
Okay, motion carries
money well
3-0.
spent.
Liz, you might as well just stand up. You're up next.
Perfect. I don't have a whole lot this morning. The only thing that comes back up for conversation in terms of what your pleasure is there's two houses that we've kind of been discussing intermittently, both with declared unfit due to lack of septic. One is there in Hillisburg on Hillis Street, and the owner of that one did come to the last meeting, but we haven't heard anything from him at all on a plan. And at the last meeting, I believe you fined that the minimum for a second fine of $250 because he was present. And then the other one is down by Antioch, owned by a rental company out of Texas. And you did the maximum second fine on it last time, which was $500. And those have been sent for liens, bills not paid on either one. So anyway, it's back to ask if you wish to move forward with condemning them, or if you wish to levy a third fine, or third and thereafter. But once you get to the third, then you're looking at putting a fine or a lien of between $500 and $2,500 per occasion. This has been, we last discussed this your second meeting of February, I believe, based on when we sent the bills out for what you guys gave as second fines on the 24th of February is when we sent those, and they've been sent to Attorney Little's office for lien filing since they're unpaid. So I assume, based on that it was the second meeting of February that you filed those. We've not seen any movement in terms of plans, or since the last day it was discussed, we've had no contact from the owner of the Hillisburg one. At no point have we had any contact from the owner of the one in Antioch.
Okay. Guys have thoughts on,
Don't have much choice, do we?
well, continue fining or
Yeah.
move forward, so.
Yeah. I'd go with another round of fines and make sure we give them every opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much would you like to do? You have a range of 500 to 2,500, I believe. is what you
Yeah, and I'll note too, in terms of houses, the one in Antioch, probably if somebody had money to throw at it, a septic could probably go there. There is a little bit of space back behind. I'm not a septic expert by any means. You know, that company hasn't contacted, so there might be a stronger benefit to just driving that to another owner through tax sale if the liens go unpaid. The one in Hillisburg, though, they chewed up that entire yard and cut through the tank to tile, and it's a very, very small, like 66-foot by 130-foot space. I don't know, that one's going to be super challenging, you know, short of moving the house somewhere else. So I do think, although that is the one that has somebody who's interested in trying to mess with it, at least at the last meeting, but I do think the two properties are kind of different in terms of the odds that if they get moved to a new owner, that a new owner will successfully be able to do something versus being stuck with something that doesn't help them.
Does that give you any more guidance?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think if you get a certain amount, then under the condition that next one's condemnation.
Well, or continue to drive it towards tax sale to see if we
Right.
can get somebody to purchase
Step
it.
up.
You know, we got kind of two things to consider. One, probably need to revisit our budget to see what we have available, and then, you know, Bert and I have been up here a couple years, and we've kind of always taken the stance to try and never have to tear anything down with taxpayer money, but rather find a way to either get a new owner or get it back on the tax rolls.
Now, I will note, we don't do these for free and
Yeah.
just walk away. Like, now, there are cases, when we did the Manson elevator, we all knew we were never going to recoup any part of that. The cost with properties that had no ability to have septics and ever be reused. We knew that was something you do for the benefit of the community. But most of these houses, particularly if there's a lot, like the one in Antioch that's zoned residentially, that'll still either get paid or go through tax sale. And, now the one in Hillisburg probably doesn't have a lot of rebuild value, but the one in Antioch might. So anyway, all that to say, the liens still go against the owners. Somebody's still required to pay those. And even if it goes to a certificate sale, it's still going to be a collect as much as possible. There's no world in which owners are being told we're just going to do this out of the grace of our hearts. They owe that money back.
Do we know what the value is on either one of these, or anticipated, or what's the dollar amount on them?
So here's the challenge. Like if you look at the one in Circleville, for example, or Hillisburg, sorry. If that was a house in good condition with a septic behind it, it's a decent sized house. You're probably talking about a $200,000 to $300,000 property. But a house that's half stripped out, hasn't been completed, has been abandoned for years and has no functioning septic or plan to have one and is very space limited, in a community with contamination on the soil, like that's a whole different thing. So now you start to depreciate. It's going to be what somebody pays hoping. Normally I'd say I would think we're looking at a maybe $30,000 to $40,000 property, but the markets have been crazy and we see a lot of people buy and sell and not disclose. So, you don't know. Now the one in Antioch, that's a different question. The house, I don't know what the condition is on the inside, but it was rented without a functioning septic at the point when we tagged it. It's been vacant now for a while, but presumably, the one in Hillisburg, we know because we had a history with that it was gutted and kind of got worse and it's been abandoned midway. But that other one, as far as I know, it's got some measure of habitability in terms of the house. The issue is purely the septic. So then you go, all right, what would it be worth minus what a septic would cost to put in, assuming you can get one in? A smart buyer would do some research first and maybe get some soil tests, but you don't know.
What were the minimums on the two? What was the
Minimum is
fine?
500 for a third fine, maximum is 2,500 for a third fine.
And what was our second?
250.
It was different. So the second one has a range of 250 to 500, and for the one in Antioch that's owned by a large rental cooperative and they've had no contact of any kind, you guys went with the max at 500 for the second fine.
Okay.
But the gentleman in Hillisburg, who did take the time to show up at your meeting and express that he hit some hard times and did want to try to resolve it, you gave a minimum fine of $250 and then asked him to get us a plan, which we haven't heard anything from him. But you did look at the two properties differently because, very understandably, you had someone at least taking the time to try to talk to us.
Kevin, would you entertain the thought of, on the one in Antioch, going to maybe 750, which is bumping it up to 500 to the corporation that apparently owns it in Antioch? And then, obviously, the one at 250, I think we need to find it also, but I would maybe just move to 300 if that guy's, if he came last.
500 is your minimum by
five-
ordinance, so you can't go lower than
Okay, can't be
500.
five.
Can't go,
Okay.
so 500 would be the,
Yeah,
500 is as low as you can go with a third fine.
so
Okay, I would
500
suggest
and
that.
750.
That would be my suggestion.
Okay.
I can go with that, although I was thinking more than 750. I mean, if they're not even gonna respond,
That's
but I can go.
your
with
call.
How much were you thinking?
that. I'd say 1,000.
That's where I would say.
I mean, if you're not even
If they
gonna
get their
communicate.
attention,
Yeah, maybe they'll give somebody a call.
Okay, so sounds like 500 for Hillisburg, 1,000 for Antioch. Issue the next set of fines. That's the motion, correct?
I'll second that. I'm okay with that.
Motion carries 3-0.
Perfect. We'll go ahead and, like before, we'll send letters out letting them know what they owe, and then if it's unpaid, we'll send it for liens. So if it is unpaid, this will be coming back to you, I'm going to guess late May or early June, just so you can kind of be prepared.
Days, yeah.
So, and we'll go from there. I think that was the only thing I had, unless you have anything for me.
Good job.
Do not? Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liz.
Okay, we'll move on to old business. The first item under that is to award the mowing bids for 2025. We had three bids. I'll kind of walk through them. They're not always perfectly apples to apples, so you've got to do a little deciphering. So exterior views, we'll call it, their total per mow was $435. Smith Lawn Care was $467, and then Elite Lawn Care was $390 for the total mow, which would put, based on kind of historical values of what we do, roughly around $12,180 for exterior, $13,076 for Smith, and then $12,480 for Elite. But then we also have aeration, a spring and fall cleanup, as well as mulch, and then weeding. And gentlemen, see all those numbers. So, do you guys have any thoughts on what direction you would like to go for this?
I mean, I've looked at them. I would think that we could go with a low bid on this. I think.
So, well, are you calling exterior the low bid or
Yeah.
elite? Depending how you decipher
Well-
it, the low bid looks different when you look at collectively all of it. Now, I will also say exterior view, different name, used to be Platinum. They have our contract for any nuance lawn care cleanup around the county
Yeah.
through area plan. So and they've done good work there. I think they've had it for 2 years or 3 years.
Couple years
So,
at least, yeah.
And I believe all would do good work. I guess low bid would be exterior view if you look at it collectively across all of those items. So,
I mean, that's kind of what I was looking at, the total mowing
okay.
along with the additional. And they're not all the same, and some of them quite different in prices, but,
I agree with Kevin, though. I believe I would be leaning towards the exterior. So
Okay.
I would make the motion, we accept them. They're doing business with us now and has done a good job. I appreciate the fact that when we call him, he's gotten to some of the difficult properties that we have. So it'd be nice to see him have the courthouse also.
Yep.
yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Motion carries 3-0 to approve exterior view for the 25 mowing contract.
Maybe we should AstroTurf next year and not have to worry about it then. Have a AstroTurf ground.
Boy, that'd
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Okay.
set a fire off, so.
Okay. Next item is the community corrections lease agreement. Brett, anything you want to say on this, or want me to run through it, or?
Yeah, we're just ready to make the move. We were welcomed by a 5-foot puddle yesterday after Sunday's rain, so as soon as possible.
Any ducks?
I'm sorry?
Any ducks?
Ducks? No ducks.
All right. So we have a new lease agreement that will be between the county and Dennis McDonald, who is the landlord. It'll start on May 1st. Tom, Brett, and myself have worked through it. Essentially, it is, we're all good with what is in there. There was one discrepancy. I just want to highlight it there about basically the option to purchase. Statutorily, if the county purchases it, we have to do the bids, and then it comes in at the average. We wanted that language. The landlord would not put it in there, but it's essentially irrelevant because we can't purchase it without it. That's the statute.
He is aware of our stance on that, so.
It's fine signing it without it. So that's unless there's any other questions.
No.
Nope. All right.
Are you gonna be able to have access if this approved?
I hope I get the keys today, and we want to start a small demo and talk to ACCS about getting in there when they can. They need about a 2-day window for us on that, so
Okay.
probably been overlap of about 1 month. That's what we're hoping.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll figure it out. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the new contract for community corrections building lease.
I'll make that motion. The
And I'll
contract.
second Kevin's first.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 on that. We'll get them signed here. There's 2 copies. Right. All right, moving on to new business. We have some job descriptions to approve of. Yeah, I'll run through them here. We have an EMT. These were sent to us. We have 2 EMT. Is that correct, Stephen? That sound right? Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at them here. Because all of these are the same. Paramedic.
I guess I do. Is this
Sure.
just for the fitness thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 EMT job descriptions and 2 paramedic job descriptions. And then a paramedic supervisor. So 5 total for EMS that all have the same change, which is just adding verbiage, if I can find it, ability to pass annual fitness evaluation. So that was not in the previous versions. Stephen wants that in the new versions, which means they're gonna be doing an annual fitness evaluation, if I understand correctly,
Yes.
as part of it. So he needs
Good
that in the
idea.
job description,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a motion to approve the 5
I'll
for
make that
EMS.
motion that we move forward with that
I'll second.
new job description.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 on those. The next one is for the payroll administrator in the auditor's office, and the changes were just separating some of the items that transitioned to the new HR position and refining this. The only question I had for Britt is it says assist in setting up wellness clinic for annual flu vaccines for employees. Would you want to make that more generic in case it includes other type of stuff rather than specific to flu? Just,
Sure.
okay. So we could approve that.
Subject to that
Yeah,
change.
she can make the change
Sure.
internally. If it's broader, it gives you a lot of flexibility
It
there.
does.
Yeah,
So,
Motion to approve with that change. The position description.
payroll administrator?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, motion.
okay, and second.
Second, motion carries 3-0 on that change. All right, department heads, do you have any? Chris?
Just a quick question on the subject, sorry.
We want to make sure everybody hears you.
That's cool. Subject to job descriptions, last year at the council meeting, Kent Spalding was set up for a pay raise. It then got decreased. I was directed to revise his job description. I did it the same day immediately. I submitted it, and I had no movement. I contacted the auditor's office. I was told it goes before a committee. This
Okay.
was last fall. There's been no word. I just got an email from Carol Price asking about job descriptions. I said, hey, while we're at it, it's been about 6 months. Where's Kent Spalding's? Where are we at on that? A lot of it was just verbiage, but the understanding I had at the meeting was that they were going to take that. I beefed it up, added things maybe that were overlooked over the years. Put groundskeeper versus, maintenance. But long story short, I just want to know where we're at on it. I don't feel like I'm doing a job as a department head if I'm not looking out for my people. And the understanding I had, then they're going to consider a pay increase for 26. But I've seen no movement, and I just wanted to know where we're at on it.
I don't know.
I believe the misunderstanding is that this was going to be looked at for the 26 budget. So the committee has been meeting, will be meeting, and we are actually going to ask to bring you in. So that's all in the works. I believe the next meeting will include you and will include Stephen. So
Okay.
you'll be hearing from us shortly.
Yeah, I just want to know, like I said, I went the same day back, jumped on it like I normally do, and it's been in limbo. And that's
Well,
like
I
Carol
think the
meant.
misunderstanding was it wasn't for the 25 budget. This was always going to be going forward. So we're there now.
As long as they're on it.
Okay.
Just following up.
Sure.
Yeah, so just anything related to job descriptions or any of that, just go through Cecily and HR.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So,
So,
okay,
well,
long
at
as
that
we're on.
time, she wasn't
She
HR,
wasn't.
she was payroll, and now it's HR, so.
Got
but
it, got it.
Going forward, just go through her, and then it'll come up here. We don't see it until it gets to.
Right. I just wanted to put it out there.
Yep.
I've done my part now. I'm just waiting.
Okay.
So, okay, thank you, Brett.
You're welcome.
All right, appreciate it.
Anyone else? Renee?
Just a quick update, next Wednesday, I have helped probably the last several years coordinate the Learning to Lead. We now call it the Public Safety Day for Learning to Lead. We will be out at the fairgrounds. This includes sophomores from all the county schools, those that are your future leaders. I believe they have to apply for it each year to be part of Learning to Lead, and they have to have like a C average or above. But anyways, we're adding the coroner's office this year, so it includes Frankfurt Fire. We go to walk over to the training center, and they do like a training fire, so they can see what that does. Stephen with EMS comes. They bring in an ambulance inside the building, talk to them. It's all about like learning what people do with their jobs. The sheriff's office, city police participate. We have canines, patrol, SWAT, dispatch. So it's just a really good day, and it's grown over the last several years. So I have that all lined up, and that will be next Wednesday. So it's always a good day for the, and you have a good group of sophomores. So
Yeah.
it's always a good day for everybody. So
Very good.
other than that, I don't have anything.
So that's next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, it's at the fairgrounds. It starts at 8:30,
Okay.
and then it usually wraps up about 2:00. So yeah, I'm sure if you want to stop out, you're more than welcome to. So
Thank you.
all right, thanks.
Thank you.
That's right.
Anyone else?
I need to ask permission to purchase my duty gun upon retirement.
Okay. What's our process, Tom?
I think we may have put something in place on that already, but I can go back and I can check to make sure.
Okay. Sounds like we have something. I would be supportive, assuming it meets what we have in place, so, let Tom check on it, and we'll let you know and
Okay,
figure out
thank
how
you.
we can get there.
Yep.
Anyone else? Steven?
This Saturday at the Frankfurt Airport, we're going to be having our first graduation for our paramedic program. We are graduating 3, and of those 3, we've had 100% first attempt success pass rate on the National Registry. For context, the state average right now is 71% on first attempt, and the national is 77. So all 3 of our students, they had the minimum number of questions required to pass the exam, and they also had 4 scenarios, which when Dolores went to a conference about the new rollout of this exam, one of the presenters said, "Don't worry, none of your students will have 4, that's a unicorn." And all 3 of our students did. So they're all well prepared, and we're excited to see them take the next steps in their career.
So how many of the 3 will work for Clinton County EMS?
2 of the 3.
2 of the 3? And
Yep.
the other one has another place to go?
Yes.
Great.
That's still good.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Steve.
Anyone else? Okay, commissioner reports? Commissioner Weaver?
I have none to report, sir.
Commissioner Myers?
I went, and if Rick wants to add something, I went out the other day they had the demo for the mowing.
Oh, yeah.
And, actually, the three councilmen were there, and everybody was kind of blown away how this thing works. So I asked him to put a package together with the lease, just to see,
See what it is?
see what we got. And, there's several different models, but, Alan and I talked about, the one with this more, it's communal, what they call it.
Okay.
And you can take the cutting, the more part of it off, the boom, and you can actually get a snowplow or a loader bucket. But I said, come up with something that would give us the mulching head and then the regular mowing head.
So a more versatile machine.
Oh,
It
yeah,
has a
and-
lot of options for it.
And if something happens that you need an additional loader, I mean, it's right there.
Okay. Did they, is this the lease agreement or just their proposal?
Well, this is kind of the proposal. Do you have a couple other of these, Rick?
Okay.
Yeah, and,
Do you have the capacity to absorb it in your budget?
Pardon me?
Do you have the capacity to absorb it in your budget? Because I'm assuming you don't have this as a line item currently, right?
Yeah, we have it, yeah.
you talked about possibly just getting the machine and basically renting it for this year.
Renting
and
it the
then-
rest of this year, but I didn't know if you guys would let me do that or not, or the council.
They give you a rental price?
I haven't
the
got
rest?
that yet.
Okay.
I will.
I'm not opposed to that. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw your annual operation report, so we know there's some funding there, and if this is gonna be utilized, would you be getting rid of any pieces of equipment?
But I'm gonna get rid of the old, boom mower.
Okay.
We've had it forever.
1994 tractor.
It's done
I
well.
would trade it in, and if they don't want it, I would take it to the auction. I'll get rid of it at the auction.
Okay. Well, I would say get, you and Kevin work on which lease agreement you want, and then work on the rental agreement, bring it ideally to our next meeting, and we can figure out to move forward. And it sounds like the council was pretty supportive from
I
at least
believe
the
so.
members that
Yeah,
attended.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the best way to go.
Okay. Yeah, just put something together for us.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Anything else, Kevin?
No, I think that's all I got.
Okay. I don't have any commissioner-based business, but I will talk on Clinton Prairie, who played in the state championship, made our community very proud. Obviously, came up short from what their ultimate goal was, but we have to be proud of everything that they did and the community support we had. I don't know the exact number. I think for the morning session Saturday at the state finals was a little over 10,000 people. That's between 4 schools. Sure felt like there was 2,500 or 3,000 people from Clinton County supporting them, and I know they appreciated it. And for me, who works with the program and as an alumni, they've accomplished stuff that many of us dreamed of, but they finally were able to get over those steps and laid that foundation. So they have a lot to be proud of. I know many of them were disappointed with the end result, but we always are when it doesn't end with a win, right? Like, that's the way sports goes. So I think we're going to work on doing something. These guys don't know it, but I'm sure they'll support it. A little something for them here in the next couple meetings. So we'll work on that behind the scenes and see if we can honor them in some way going forward. So that is all that I had. We'll move on to our board business. We have claims dated March 21st in the amount of $5,861.01. Claim dated March 28th in the amount of $38,758.58. Another claim from the 28th in the amount of $2,634.83. A biweekly from April 1st in the amount of $274,546.36. And lastly, a court claim from April 1st in the amount of $20,879.04. Do I have a motion to approve the claims?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 on the claims. Next, we have payroll from March 7th in the amount of $587,336.84. Motion.
Motion to approve payroll.
And second.
Lastly, we have our minutes from our last meeting on March 18th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 on those. Our next meeting will be April 15th. Is there any other business to come before us this morning? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, thank you.
out of TPA.
After lunch, I pick up the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
YMCA several years ago.